All right, Matthews. So let me help you two different ways. Let's use ChatGPT to help us with our understanding. And number two, let me show you how to compute a percentile and what the heck that means. All right. So let's look at this problem right here. So let's just pretend these were all, I know it says grams of carbs, but let's just pretend these were test scores because a lot of you guys are going to be doing that quiz question. And so let's pretend all of these were test or quiz scores. It doesn't really matter. All right. So when you're asked to compute, the percentile corresponding to the given data value, so on your quiz, I asked you, all right, take your test score and you're going to see how well did you do compared to everyone else. Okay, so let's pretend these were test scores. And our goal is, let's say we got a 23 on the test out of 50. All right. And so let's pretend all these were the test scores. The first thing you want to do is make sure you arrange all those in increasing order. So remember, that's the sort A function on our calculator. And actually, let me bring in my calculator just so I don't assume, how everybody knows how to do this. So let me pull it up on my screen for you. And let me share a new screen. There we go. All right. So let's pretend we have values. So stat, edit, and then let's pretend these were our values in list one here. So if I want to put those in order, let's go home, second quit. So I'm going to hit stat, sort A, and then I just tell it what list. So I'm going to put second, L1, since this list was an L1. And notice it put everything in order. So when I go back into edit here, all those numbers are in order. I know those aren't the numbers I was using, but just so you could see what the heck is going on. All right. So this is nice. They're already in order. All right. And let's say you got a score of a 23. All right. I know you're better than that. Just kidding. So let's just pretend, stuff happens and you get a 23. And for me, right, a lot of my own education, I was down here, right? But I changed that. So we'll talk about that later. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to count the number of values less than that 23. All right. So notice 23 isn't on our list, and that's okay because all we're doing is counting the numbers less than 23. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 values less than 23. But again, you're going to use your score and compare it, see how many scores are less than your score, right? And then you're going to add 0.5. So here you do 8 plus 0.5, which is 8.5, and you divide it by the total number of values you have. So you're going to divide it by the total number of people who took that test. In this case, there's 25 people. So again, let's do this. Let's run this calculation on our calculator. So I hit second quit. So we do 8.5 divided by 25. And then we're going to go ahead and multiply that fraction by 100 because we want to turn it into a percentage. And we get 34. So 34, that's our percentile. So this score that we got of a 23 is the 34th percentile. And you could ignore this because, again, I changed the problem, the context of the problem. So this would mean that your score is ranked 34th. Okay. And so what does that really mean? And this is where I want you guys to use AI to deepen your understanding of what is it that we're doing. So check this out. I just loaded ChatGPT and I said, what is meant when they ask to compute a percentile? Explain it to me like if I'm in middle school, because a lot of things, every time I ask ChatGPT a question, I want to have a deeper understanding. And Einstein says, if you understand something, you could explain it to like, I think it was like a elementary school kid or something like that. So, and that makes a lot of sense, right? So here it is. All right, so imagine you're in a big group of students and you all took a math test. Now let's say you got a score of 80 out of 100. That's pretty good. But how well did you compare to everyone else? That's the big question that we often want to know. because there's so many tests that you're going to take in life where you're comparing yourself to the others, right? Maybe it's for a job. So this is where percentiles come in. When someone asks you to compute the percentile, they want to know how your score ranks compared to everyone else's. So here's how it works. Let's say you're in the 80th percentile. Well, what that really means is that 80% of the students scored the same or lower, and only 20% scored higher than you. All right. So computing a percentile basically helps figure out where you stand in the group compared to everyone else. It's kind of like knowing your place in line, but for test scores or other kinds of data, right? So again, when you guys are doing these questions, make sure you really understand what is it that they're asking of you. All right, mathletes, I hope you enjoyed. Hope that makes sense. Make sure you subscribe, give it a thumbs up. I'll talk to you, mathletes, later. Peace.